Hello, everyone. It's Scotty White of World Combat Sports. Welcome this Wednesday. It's only popping once again with some boxing talk about some current events that just took place. And of course, it has a lot to do with the continuing storylines of individuals, not so much the fight itself, but the actions, the situations that's involved in the fight. And that fight being different individuals such as fighters, trainers who are speaking up finally about the obvious situation that certain people are trying to ignore with the gloves. All right. So it's not like, anybody specifically is making it up. It's something that's absolutely has validity to it once you just zoom in a little bit and put your finger on it and say, something isn't right with that. Like cognizantly, we understand that something isn't right with all the videos that's out there. So jumping right into it, man, this morning, shout out to the Boxing Voice, man, always having quality content out here. I do tune in to their program and what they have going on. But what I wanted to bring to you, the fight fans, is Sugar Hill, the trainer of Tyson Fury, at the time of his fight, February 22nd, was chosen and selected to be on that team, right? So he comes on the Boxing Voice, and it's no disrespect. I'm just speaking my mind and, putting it out there as media. So Sugar Hill, his relation to his uncle, Emanuel Stewart, shout out to the OG, rest in peace. He came on the Boxing Voice, and he was he was asked some questions. And one of the questions they asked was, has anything been brought to his attention about the gloves? And his very vague response was the commission check. The commission was there and the gloves are inspected. Just like Deontay Wilder received his gloves, Fury received his glove, and he just left it at that. He really didn't give us, he didn't elaborate as much as we thought he would, being he was in the corner of Tyson Fury. But I'm like, man, come on, man. This is the talking points. This is the talk of the freaking media. At least you can come over here. I mean, you can come on here and give us a little bit of justice with integrity, as if you understand how severe this is out here in the media. So he's like, the commission and, they was inspected and the commission was there and everything else. So then, on that night, they asked about, Fury's camp putting a towel over the camera. And I try to explain this to the people that was on the media. And, some social media casuals just want to run with it, like little kids out the candy store. But yet they don't want to do any research. They get on here and type. But it's fact that he was asked, what about the towel being placed over the camera to try to cover it up? And then someone on the team just unplugged it. There's unplugged, disconnected the camera. So it could be no footage at that time. His response was, oh, we was looking at TV. Like, if you look at what was the show that was on? Because most of the time, the camera is showing what exactly is happening in the arena or the other fighters' dressing room or whatever the case. Earlier, you could see the camera was showing Deontay Wilder's dressing room earlier that night. But he said, oh, we were just looking at TV. And I've been in the dressing room of fighters. It's not that big to the point where if something goes down that's abnormal or suspicious, you're not going to look around and say, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? I bet if I walked up in there and they say, hey, you got credentials? Who are you here to see? You can't be back here because Tyson Fury about to go out and fight. I'm pretty sure they recognize if I came back there. But Sugar Hill's going to come off as if he wasn't paying attention. He was looking at TV. I don't find that odd. I find that extremely in not denial, but more so you're not going to be privy to it. I don't think you deserve for me to breach any type of trust that I have with Tyson Fury, because of course, when it comes to trainers, they want to go back into another big fight and make money. Of course. So he's not going to breach any type of confidentiality or what Tyson Fury would perceive as disrespect. He's going to maintain whatever integrity he chooses and say very little because he just don't want to have to get the phone call like Manny Robles received from Andy Ruiz's father and say, we no longer want your services. Yeah. So again, thirdly, Sugar Hill comes up here and says that he doesn't watch tape. He doesn't watch video of the fighters. Your question was asked. So you're trying to tell me going into a fight and you're training Tyson Fury for the first time, right? For such a big fight. You don't watch reel of the fighters? I mean, I understand that he ain't the first one to say that. It was also mentioned on there that Buddy McGirt said the same thing. There's plenty of other fighters. But you're trying to tell me you don't watch video of the fighters to make a better assessment on how you plan to go into this particular fight and train them on what they need to work on? So put it this way. If a trainer doesn't need to watch video of a fighter, then what the hell are you training them on? If Tyson is, supposedly fundamentally sound, what are you training him on? Fights that you just seen on YouTube to Deontay Wilder? Like, what is the case here? What is it? Like, come on, man. You playing with us. You playing with some people, but you're playing with us to a point where you're saying, I don't watch film. So you're just going in there and training and going through the motions with a fighter that already has skills. So you're just going to work on that. Tyson Fury he didn't even come out and fight the same way he did the first time. So you had to watch film on the first fight. You had to go out there and watch the way Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder and vice versa, because Tyson Fury pressed the issue. He pressed the issue out the gate. He had a different game plan that was beneficial to him on February 22nd. But I was extremely disappointed in the way he just sit up here and fed little small doo-doo drops. You know what I'm saying? He fed them small doo-doo drops to intelligent people who just are eager to hear what he has to say about this whole thing. Because from the glove situation to them throwing a towel over the camera and we're not being able to see what exactly is going on, to blatantly being asked. And I like how Ness did this. He read a comment that the fans asked. He didn't necessarily ask it. The fans asked it. And just so happened, these boxing fans is tuning in, they asked a question and his answer was like, the gloves get inspected. The commissioners back there and the gloves are there viewed by the inspector. I'm like, wow, man. That's all you have to say? Like, I'm pretty sure you was there too. To be honest, I'm pretty sure Sugar Hill was there too, to be honest. That's real. And I just thought he would elaborate just a little bit more in depth about what's going on out here, because it's been proven that there are mirrored or remediated signs of how Tyson Fury throws his jab, how his glove wavers in the wind. And we're talking about a mass of bones that he has in there that's called a hand. And if by chance his hand is somewhat dislocated in the process of fighting, then that would be debunked too, because how are you going to throw popping jabs out there and be effective like he was? Because check this out. If you look at all the face palm shots that Tyson Fury did in the ring with Deontay Wilder, that was several face palm shots. So if by chance his knuckles was down around that wrist area and you palm somebody, you hit somebody in the face with your freaking palm of your glove, those knuckle shots will add up sooner or later. Real talk, they will add up. I know people don't want to believe that, but they will add up. They will add up to the point where, Deontay was probably feeling them. He was feeling them. If the glove is distorted around the wrist area with the thumb knuckle and it looked unnatural, wouldn't you say to yourself, like, something isn't right with that. Like these people that's making up the videos, you can't say, well, if it's Pharaoh, he hasn't watched boxing that long. Or if it's so-and-so, well, he hasn't had his channel up that long. It doesn't take people to go out here and do research on video or film and then put together a video of step by step on trying to prove a point. And it's something that's not going to, leave Tyson Fury alone, because we truly believe that Tyson Fury has a history of cheating outside of pads. And people want to come up here and talk about Muhammad Ali. Now, the only boxer of every single boxer that's out there, you go out here and get a frame of Muhammad Ali flicking the jab out there to say, well, since he's in the company of Muhammad Ali, you know what I'm saying, with the Ring Magazine titles, now we can compare videos. I think it's just asinine for people to sit up here and take a little clip of Muhammad Ali flicking a jab out there and say, well, possibly Muhammad Ali cheated too, or giving the impression that Muhammad Ali need to be in the same sins as Tyson Fury. Seriously. Rashid, what's good, man? Say Sugar Hill, Panama Lewis 2.0. Rashid said that's why Wilder list was so damaged. Rashid, I'm just saying, like, if you pop somebody in the face with the palm of your hand, the way he did, straight pop them, and you straight put your palm in there with your knuckles over and over again, because Deontay Wilder was on center line, right? Your lip is going to swell up. Your eyes, your face is going to get puffy. Period. When you have shots out there, obviously with the palm, just like before the fight was even stopped, go back to the 7th round before the fight was even stopped. Did you see Tyson Fury pop Deontay again with an open palm and then come around with the right hand? You think you don't feel that? Absolutely, he felt that shot. Fat lip and all, just like Rashid said, fat lip and all. If your knuckles are in the glove like that and you up there popping somebody with palm strikes, you can't sit up here and take the glove and say, oh, he had a glove on. Yeah, he's going to feel that shit. He's going to feel the lower part of the glove where the knuckles are at and have a nice little mask. You know what I'm saying? That glove is masking what is really going on. I mean, it's so many intricate parts. The boxing dirty, in the sport. But when you put video out there and it's a fighter that everybody favors, like Tyson Fury, then people gonna start making excuses. That's all I hear. Are y'all making excuses for Deontay? I'm not making excuses for him. He's a grown freaking man who's fought in the sport for 43, 44 fights. I'm not here to make any excuses. I'm here to talk this media, this boxing stuff. I'm here to talk the boxing game to a point where if someone is cutting corners, and then we have so many people that's up here on the parade and saying, hey, we want a safe sport. This is the hurt business. If it's the hurt business, why not talk about things that get fighters hurt? We're talking about with pugilistica. We're talking about comas, death, everything. So if you're going to find a fighter cheating, don't come over here talking that bullshit saying, well, it's no way that could have really hurt Deontay Wilder because he still has on a glove. And it wasn't that severe as y'all making it. It is. Absolutely it is. Rashid said, what about the large hematoma on the back of Wilder's head? Padded gloves to produce knots on the back of the head. See, the one hard question to ask about the knots on the head is the fact of people going to say, well, in boxing, some fighters turn their head. I haven't really spoke on the knots on the head, but I heard from a source that Deontay Wilder had several knots on his head. Now, when you have several knots on the head, then guess what? Something was going on. If the gloves are padded, and even though Tyson Fury landed that right hand on the back of Deontay Wilder's head, the right hand, then therefore, where did all the rest of the knots come from? It had to come in somewhere during the fight from a particular area of Tyson Fury's body. And knowing in boxing, you fight with your hands. Sometimes an elbow land in there, but majority of the time your striking tools are your hands. That's all I'm saying. But we have so many people that's advocating, doing their own freaking rebukes, retorts. And the only thing that I'm up here speaking on is I want to get to the bottom of if Tyson Fury is a legitimate fighter who should be considered in the company of the greats like the Floyd Patterson and Muhammad Ali's. If you're gonna say he was the English heavyweight champion twice, and now he's the only fighter to hold the super belts, WBA, WBO, IBF, WBC, and the ring titles. If you so in a haste to put him in that category, then let's talk about if he deserved to be in that particular category and doing the sport the right way. Is he performing within? I know boxing doesn't consist of morals and principles, right? But did he win in an honest and fair way? That's all I'm saying. Don't act like the man has never cheated. The man is cheated before, man. He comes from a family that instills, bare knuckle, that has a lineage in bare knuckle fighting. He comes from a lineage of the gypsies. He comes from a lineage of people that aren't afraid to fight at any given time. That's just where they come from. You know what I'm saying? Kudos to them. But I'm just saying right now, right here, all the people that are vilifying Deontay Wilder, a person that didn't complain in the fight. He didn't complain in the fight. On all the dirty tactics that was going on, he didn't sit up there and whine and complain and hold his head like this, over and over again. The only time you really saw him with a bewildered look on his face is when he got knocked down the first time. You know what I'm saying? You got to give that man credit. You take a sidebar conversation he had about a uniform and you go to typing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you go out here typing and you're saying Deontay is making excuses. But yet during the fight, he wasn't up there really complaining and whining like that. He just continued to fight on. Blood leaking out the ear, busted up lip, swollen face. He's still up there fighting. So should he get credit? Yeah, he should get credit. Absolutely, people. He should get credit for sure. But I was disappointed in Sugar Hill, man. I expect more from Sugar Hill. I never met the man, but for him to give one-line answers to such an important topic of discussion, he want to put it off on the inspector and the commission when it comes to the gloves. Like, no, we want you to report on why is the left hand wrap exposed on more than one fight of his left hand. Why? That's all we want to know. Like, what was going on back in the dressing room? Why would they put a towel? Why would Joe Tessitore sit up here and make a note, a verbal note of it on the telecast that what is Tyson Fury camp doing? Why are they covering up the camera? And then why was it unplugged? Why? That's the big question no one wants to talk about. It was some dishonesty, someone cutting corners. It needs to be spoken on. But in boxing, man, certain people have jobs they don't want to lose. That's fact. They got jobs they don't want to lose, man. I've seen trainers get their ass cussed out by the fighter. The trainer, some of the trainers don't go tit for tat with the fighters because they don't want that fighter to say, hey, your services are no longer needed. So they sit up there and they have to endure this. They have to go through and just get treated like trash. Trash, man, like old hand wraps. They only good for the cause, and then after that, they get tossed. If everything's not right, they get tossed, man. So that's why I believe Sugar Hill came the way he did, because there is a trilogy that's pending for July 18th, right? Unless something else pops up. The date right now is July. And what we truly want to see is Deontay Wilder return to the square as the warrior that he is and represent that he is indeed capable of going in there, getting his belt back. That's how trilogy is supposed to be, y'all. You know, you're supposed to show the boxing community and your fans that you're able to go back in there and get your belt. So regardless of what Sugar Hill wants to deny, the proof is out there. And the good thing about it, if they're having it back in Vegas again, I'm pretty sure once it gets down to the final hours, the final minutes of them walking out, I guarantee the cameras won't go out this time. I guarantee the cameras won't go out this time. I guarantee you Tyson Fury left glove would not be exposing his hand wrap this time. He might be flicking out the jab. He's going to do what's natural. If he's going to flick out the jab, cool. But I almost guarantee you that his hand wrap will not be exposed like it has before, because they have the paycheck already. Let me make a highlight of something his father, John Fury, said. When they had that round table over there with David Haye and a couple other people, right, over there at BT Sports, I believe. His dad was talking about how Tyson was going to knock him out. We're talking about a guy who doesn't knock out fighters like that. Early in his career, when he just started, cool. But we're talking about at the top of the food chain, it wasn't going down like that, right? So John Fury's up there talking about Tyson Fury, how he's going to knock Deontay Wilder out. He's going to go in there and prove that he's the better fighter. I can understand all that. His dad is talking the game and saying, I guarantee you, I bet you anything, David Haye, he knocks him out. And David was like, no, I'm not going to bet. It's not up to me to bet. I just want to see a boxing match, you know, the good of the sport. So Tyson Fury goes in there and he gets the knockout, not in the second round, but in the seventh, right? The fight is stopped. So then immediately after the fight, they're talking about retirement. Oh, he has all the belts now. It's time to retire. The man is just 30 years old and you're talking about retirement now. We're talking about Tyson Fury is kind of hesitant on whether he truly wants to take this rematch with Deontay Wilder. Oh, I'm making that up, right? Because this is the same Tyson Fury who refused to take the immediate rematch with Deontay Wilder. And Deontay went on to fight again while Tyson Fury was out here fighting Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallen. And then going over there competing in the WWE in a freaking headliner with Braun Strowman. So all that time, Deontay Wilder's, you know, he didn't get the immediate rematch. Tyson Fury took his time and then came back with a new trainer. And he was able to win the belt. But check this out. Deontay Wilder is in a dire strait right now. Deontay Wilder, at this point in time, unless it's something in the contract, it's good of him to take this immediate rematch. Because if Deontay pulls a Tyson Fury and say, I don't want the immediate rematch, the only thing that's going to do is bring on all the haters, bring on the freaking masses of those individuals that really don't look at boxing except in passing, because they would say, oh, Deontay Wilder got his ass whooped and he's ducking Tyson Fury now. He's freaking ducking him. He doesn't want that smoke. That's exactly what's going to happen. If Deontay Wilder took freaking step aside money, let's just say Deontay took step aside money, 5-6 million, whatever the case may be. You know what his own people are going to say? Some of them, my people, he'll sell out. He'll sell out. They're going to say the man sold out because he took the step aside money for Tyson Fury to go over there and face Anthony Joshua for the Undisputed. And he didn't want to get right back in there. But then I also have to back up, y'all. I have to back up to when Anthony Joshua got his ass whooped. I didn't get the same language. I'm getting all this energy on here in social media. But when Anthony Joshua got his ass whooped by Andy Ruiz, the last minute replacement, the same people that's coming up here now that he has the belts back are all invigorated to say, well, in Anthony Joshua's case, he wasn't in there with the puncher who hits harder as Tyson Fury. What? He wasn't in there with a fighter like Tyson Fury. What? Andy Ruiz is not rated as high as Tyson Fury. But no, we're talking about the ass whooping. We're talking about Andy Ruiz getting off the canvas to go in there and obliterate Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua spitting out his gum shield, looking all around to his corner, confused, befuddled, disorientated, scared. He quit. He quit, y'all. He didn't want to be there. He quit. So when Joshua took that ass whooping, guess what? It wasn't people saying, oh, you know what? He should wait. Anthony Joshua should wait because I don't think he's well. His corner move was rubbing his neck when he came to the corner, when he stepped up on the ring apron to begin the fight. Something wasn't right. Then word started speculating that Joey DeWeco slept his ass in sparring. So all this rumor mill is coming up, but I didn't hear one single, especially those fight fans are here criticizing Deontay Wilder. I didn't hear y'all saying, well, Anthony Joshua should hold out. Just hold out. Why don't Andy Ruiz go over there and face Deontay Wilder or something? Because they had a rematch clause too. Anthony Joshua made sure that they enacted the rematch clause. But in the process, Eddie Hearns was looking like, okay, we need to go over to Saudi Arabia and make this money. I'm going to tell you what I think about that. I think it's like the premeditation of it all for Anthony Joshua to become two-time unified champion was all part of the plan. To come up here and get Andy Ruiz, who's never been in this position before, and for him to go over there and win the titles as he did, then they had to move the fight outside of the U.S., of course, and go over to Saudi Arabia, where the fight underwhelmed those who was in attendance, who paid all the money to go over there to Saudi and to see Anthony Joshua with his Asics run around the freaking ring and punch a guy who was just like a turtle with 3 shells and 3 legs. You know what I'm saying? He was that slow. Like it was a turtle, it was a snail race in a salt bath. You know, Andy Ruiz did nothing to make it interesting. So therefore, I didn't hear the outcry of individuals saying, what? Anthony Joshua shouldn't take this fight. He should fight somebody else. I mean, he should allow Andy Ruiz to fight somebody else. Take step aside money. No, that was never in the plan. But then come full circle, you have so many people that's sitting up here like they're petitioning. They're doing all these social media petitions. Deontay Wilder shouldn't fight Tyson Fury in July. What is he going to learn? We said the same thing about Joshua. What the hell is Joshua going to learn from the beating he took with Andy Ruiz up to the point he's supposed to step back in there again with him? What is he going to change? What did we see to happen with Anthony Joshua in the rematch? All he did was keep his distance, pop the jab out there, run, Forrest, run, pop the jab out there. Andy Ruiz, it wasn't like he was hard to find. He was overweight. He was nice and round. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got. We had a fighter that was deconditioned for the moment. Andy Ruiz came in there deconditioned, overweight, slow as hell, and he really didn't even put out like what he did the first time. So why are you all crying about Deontay Wilder taking this fight in July when I didn't hear you all petitioning for Anthony Joshua to not take the fight against Andy Ruiz? Because ultimately, a fighter that you want to see is undisputed, that you all are enamored with, is Anthony Joshua. A lot of these dudes out here want to live vicariously through Anthony Joshua. They want to get a picture with him so they can say, oh man, I took a picture with Anthony Joshua, the unified champion. We got cats out here putting Anthony Joshua first just because of the amount of belts he got, and we have some putting him second. But I'll tell you like this, if Anthony Joshua doesn't want to face Deontay Wilder and you hear him talking, Tyson Fury, I help you train on the lead up, like he has anything to offer. The man don't even have a gas tank. He want to go over here and help Tyson Fury train Deontay Wilder. That goes to show you he isn't trying to face Deontay Wilder. Even more now, after the performance that Tyson Fury displayed, do you really believe Eddie Hearns will want to see Tyson Fury? Do you believe that Eddie Hearns is confident enough that Anthony Joshua can go in there and face Tyson Fury and win? Hell no. What's going on, Monica Harrison? What's good? Salute to everybody that's in the house, in the super chat. I appreciate that. And on Facebook. But yeah, man. I know Rashid said Panama Lewis 2.0. I don't want to put him in that. When you put him in that language, you're really calling the man the ultimate disgrace to boxing. I mean, like what he did, he really caused. Look, he really destroyed 3 lives. 4 if you include the wife of Billy Collins. You know, including the man's wife. Panama Lewis destroyed so many people. The boxer that suffered from freaking having a scratched iris, killing himself, to his father, to his freaking girl. I mean, he destroyed so many lives. And also Luis Resto too. Luis Resto at the time was, I believe, 27-5 or something. And he wasn't even undefeated. Destroyed his boxing career too. I think he did like what? He did time in prison because he willingly knew that the gloves had been tampered with. So coming up to this point right here, why aren't y'all crying about that shit with Anthony Joshua? Why? I did not see the social media blowing up about Anthony Joshua when he got his ass whooped by Andy Ruiz. But Deontay Wilder go over here and take a beating, right? Not complaining. Look competent enough to go back over to the corner once the fight was stopped. He questioned Kenny Bayless, why you stop it. Kenny explained to him that a towel came in, and he went over there immediately. He didn't stumble over there. He went over there to the ropes and asked Mark Breland, why you do that? So therefore, to now, why aren't y'all like holding yourselves accountable for being hypocrites? Like, that's some coward ass shit you're doing. Y'all want to sit up here and dog the man out that didn't complain during the fight, that he got his ass whooped. But yet Joshua, he's sitting up there doing what Joshua does. He always spit his mouthpiece out to get more time. He ripped his glove. He ripped the tape off his gloves in Joseph Parker fight. He's known to get timeouts for breathers. I think he did the same thing in Carlos Takam fight. So when he got his ass whooped, I just didn't hear all these so-called boxing experts come up here and say, hey, Anthony Joshua, maybe you should take some time off, just relax a little bit, go to the UK, take a vacation, find an oasis, and just have some drinks, my friend. Just really relax and tune into your other side. Find your center. That's all you do. You know what I mean? Just find your center. And then you come back to the sport and you will be that much greater. Seriously, you will be that much greater. Anyway, let me get to these comments. Y'all got me up here tripping. Chris Ray say, hit the like button. Appreciate that, Chris Ray. Thanks for dropping in, my brother. Rashid said all those rabbit punches with tainted gloves couldn't cause Wilder to suffer the same fate as Jerry McLeod. Yeah, it could have. It could have caused the same fate of Jerry McLeod, who we all look at. A lot of people don't want to look at it because it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch. But see, they're not making such a big deal about it because it was fighters who was throwing caution to the wind. I mean, it was a very, very tough fight. Real talk. That's That's my fault, everybody. It's not my fault, actually. It was freaking dropping the link or whatever they got going on over here at that time. But hopefully everybody's still around. Let me get the chat back up over here. Rashid made a good point. Rashid made a good point that I'm gonna post up here about Nigel Benn. The fight between Nigel Benn and Gerald McClean was just an incredible fight. Even though it was a lot of dirty tactics in there, periodically we're talking about the rabbit punches behind the head, and Rashid said all those rabbit punches with tainted gloves could have caused Wilder to suffer the same fate as Gerald McClean, right? But then, he says Nigel Benn destroyed McClean with repeated rabbit punches. This is where we depend on the referee to take control of what he's watching. The referee understands what a rabbit punch is. The referee understands, and the fighter understands, if he hits a fighter behind the head 1 or 2 times and make it seem like it's not intentional, that's 2 warnings. That's 2 rabbit punches. That's 2 warnings. Because in boxing, you can't sit up here and say, well, I'm deducting a punch for rabbit punching. How many times did Andrew Galata, how many times was he warned? You know what I'm saying? How many times was he warned against Riddick Bowe for low blows? How many times was he warned when he was just absolutely losing control? You have to just take that into consideration, how serious effect it is. Sometimes the referee just loses control of the fight. And sometimes the referee want to turn a blind eye and just don't want to, mention certain things that's going in there. It happens, man. I know referees don't ever want to hear that their integrity is being questioned and so forth. But we've seen some serious oversight, so to speak. We've seen some serious neglect or dereliction of duty when it comes to freaking referees in the ring looking at a fight. We've seen it several times. I can say with that fight between Floyd Mayweather and Victor Ortiz, Joe Cortez is up there calling the fight, action. And I know it's protect yourself at all time, but it really even wasn't something that, he separated the fights. You know how you see referees push both fighters back ample amount of distance for them to properly start the fight? They don't really let them stay close distance. So he said, okay, fight. And the fighter automatically swings the left or right, catch the fighter off guard because he didn't have enough time to re-engage or reinsert himself into the fight mentally. You know what I'm talking about, right? But Joe Cortez just looking off into the distance like he's looking at a movie, and Floyd pops Victor Ortiz and get the payback for Victor Ortiz headbutting. And I don't care about that. Victor Ortiz, he deserved that. He left his hand down because he wanted to get knocked out. He didn't want to leave the ring with people saying, you're a dirty fighter. And you went in there and continued to fight. No, Victor Ortiz stamped his departure and he allowed Floyd Mayweather to catch him with his hands down as if he didn't know boxing. He wanted that shit to happen. But back to my man, I really want to keep it in your ear that y'all should understand one thing. Like the ones that's out here vilifying, Deontay Wilder about his performance. We have every right as media to keep on talking about Tyson Fury's performance. If Tyson Fury was in there with freaking gloves that went against the rules and regulations, and people are seeing the videos with the hand wraps in more than one fight, then you should tell yourself, if you're saying you don't see anything wrong, then you really are trying to say, I'm just going against anything that supports Wilder. You know what I'm saying? I'm going against anything that support Deontay Wilder from having a case that Tyson Fury cheated him in his win. And people look like they'll sit up here and say, well, Deontay Wilder, he didn't have the skills. He didn't have the fundamentals to beat Tyson Fury. Maybe so. In that particular night, maybe so that the game plan was all wrong. Something else was going on with his leg. Maybe so. We got it. All right. We got it. We understand. But the only thing I'm trying to tell you is that In the process of him going those 7 rounds, it's a lot of punishment that could have been administered due to him cheating. If that is indeed the case. If it's indeed the case. If you look at the Luis Resto fight and Billy Collins fight, if you look at how swollen the eyes were of Billy Collins from Luis Resto's extracted padding in the knuckle set of his gloves. Look at how swollen his eyes up, and tell me you can't do that if you just sitting up here face palming and your freaking knuckles are like that. If I sit up here and hit you in the face, you can hit yourself in the face with your knuckle. If you do that as a professional fighter, heavyweight, you don't think you're going to swell up? Yeah, you're going to swell up. If you open hand slap somebody over and over again, their face is going to swell up, right? Nicholas Moreland, what's good with you, man? Didn't see you drop through. What's up? What's good, man? Thanks for dropping in. Rashid said, I want to start producing YouTube videos. Where do I start? Nigel being destroyed, McLean, and repeated rapid punches. Rashid, when it comes to YouTube videos and all of that, first of all, you have to get an editing software that you're well versed in enough to edit videos. I don't edit videos, somebody else's videos, to make up a point. Like it's just too much time writing articles, going to fights and stuff like that. So if you want to start splicing or editing videos from different sources to create a narrative to a specific point in boxing, or to highlight fighters coming up to a fight, all you have to do is just get a download software, come up with editing software, whichever one you want to use, Adobe, Final Cut, whatever. Learn how to use it. After you learn how to edit, all you have to do is save it to a hard drive or whatever and upload it on YouTube. That's all. You have a YouTube channel, upload your videos on YouTube, and make sure that you're not using a large percentage of someone else's content, or else that particular person may put in a copy strike against you. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit ins and outs on how this YouTube thing works. But most of my videos is my content, interviews, and I just post it like that. Most of what I have to say about what I'm saying now about Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, because they're the top 3 heavyweights, is I come on here and verbally talk about it, because I just don't have the team or anybody to edit videos like that. And then after you edit the video, Rashid, you have to render it, and that could take some time. It's according to how many clips you have, how long the video is. You have to render it to a place where you can then upload it. So you have to take it from the software, either put it on your computer or hard drive, and then upload it from your hard drive to YouTube, Facebook, whatever the case. It doesn't have to be on YouTube. It could be straight from your hard drive to Facebook. But the one thing about uploading videos to Facebook, they have to be a certain length of time, or else they won't do it. That's why YouTube is the way to go. But it's always good to expand out, right? So not to continue to retread on what's evident out here in the media, but it needs to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not talking about this every day. I talked about the UFC 248 card yesterday, and then I had an individual that I felt like I knew for a fact of who he was, but I allowed him to come on and show his face, and he was just really doing something that another member had did. And if you have all these members on here, right, and they're not really talking about boxing all the time, they're just putting memes and they're just putting negative comments and content up about boxers, you kind of get used to their mannerisms. And this particular dude was just putting World Combat Sports up here, my name and everything else, and he was just under a different name. So I didn't tell him that. I said, I went on the live on the Facebook, on the group to talk with him, because all that cussing ain't gonna do nothing for me. Cussing back and forth, I'm not gonna do it. Not because I can't do it. I'm just saying we're gonna talk about boxing, because if I don't know you, it's nothing I have to say to you personally, you know. But some people just don't care. So he was just going in just strictly on me when he talk about blue blood sports out here, and he's talking about all the LDBC people that's reporting on it. I have nothing to do with that. I'm basically reporting what I'm reporting from my sources. So I felt he was just going in on black media in general to bring some attention to himself. Period. So I invited him on here yesterday, and he was just all over the place. He wasn't holding true to the smoke that he was hoping to deliver. And he has a name up there, John Gee, but obviously it was John Gomez. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And something isn't right with that dude, because when I was in a different boxing group before, someone had this dude as a moderator, and he was up there just dogging out fighters, man. So when I, kind of called him out on it, like, man, what are you doing? You're not even talking boxing content. He goes in a tirade and put all this false information out there on the thread. So coming months and months past, I guess he felt it was time to do it again. But this time I knew who he was because I had a prior experience with him. Something ain't right. This dude said he has shows a Mike Tyson tattoo on his arm. What does that got to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? I'm talking about how you going up here dogging out anybody who's up here advocating for what happened during the Deontay Wilder fight. He's just going in every black media that he can possibly get. Enough of that guy. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I really hope this rematch happens. No injuries. This is do or die. Deontay Wilder in October of this year, he will be 35 years old. And I know at one point in time last year, Deontay Wilder's made it clear that he only has 4 or 5 years left. So he won his roses now. I get it. I retired from the military at 37 years old. You know what I'm saying? I get it. The military isn't boxing, but I'm just saying certain people definitely want to enjoy their life at their choice. They don't want to have to enjoy their life because they're forced to. And with boxing, you see a lot of people have to leave the sport because they're forced to. Like Muhammad Ali fought past when he was supposed to fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's bad. But when it comes to Wilder, he's going to be 35 this year. I really don't want to see him fighting into his 40s like Manny Pacquiao. Everybody say, oh, Manny Pacquiao, the only reason he's fighting because he gives back. You know what I'm saying? His philanthropy is just so freaking commendable. I mean, Manny Pacquiao has so many issues going on too. And with boxing, they don't have a retirement plan. So a Manny Pacquiao fighting at 41 years old, it's just, to me, of all the money he potentially made, it doesn't make any sense. If you're going to be a politician, just, make the money they're going to pay you in the Philippines to be a politician. You know what I'm saying? But Manny Pacquiao just as well can end up like a Maxim Dadashev or a Patrick Day, a Don Kim. Seriously, Manny Pacquiao can just as well end up like a Jerry McLean. I know y'all love to see Manny jump into the ring, but Manny is an 8th division champion. Manny is a freaking legend of the sport. He has endured a lot of punishment. If he gets in there with the wrong person that may be the right opponent for boxing, they may indeed destroy Manny Pacquiao to the point where all this legacy will be remembered posthumously because he won't be the same, or he might have passed, period. What's up, K-Ron Tucker? What's good? K-Ron said, what's up, Scotty Love from the UK? Shout out to the UK. Real talk. Tucker said Manny Pacquiao has to fight. At 41 years old, I can only imagine, that he does have to go in here and fight. Because the reality of boxing is indeed that it's no retirement plan. So look at it in this perspective, right? Boxing doesn't have a retirement plan, but for those fighters who make some money and spend money, right? They make money and spend money. And in the boxing world or in Hollywood or whatever, if you're making a certain amount of money, you want to go out here and purchase certain type of properties. I'm talking about the properties you live in, certain type of vehicles, live a certain type of lifestyle. With that lifestyle, unless you're paying money for that property, you have a mortgage. And with boxers, since they don't get paid every month, they have to continue to fight. And they have to continue to fight to the point where they're able to stay healthy and boost their Wall Street and come back in here and continue to make that money to be able to support their lifestyle. So let's just say, for instance, that particular fighter wasn't able to get the big fights on a consistent basis. When they retire and the money stops, if they haven't opened up a gym, if they haven't invested, if they have set up absolutely minimal means of receiving a residual income, then they're in trouble. So all the things that they may have purchased while they was an active fighter, that may start coming off the wall. They may have to take some of these items, autograph it, and hope they're able to get minimum top dollar. You know what I'm saying? It does happen in boxing. Boxers do not at this point in time have a plan where if they fight for 10, 15 years, if they get out the sport, they're able to receive a stipend. Let's just say that stipend for a boxer, $2,500. Well, of course, if a fighter is getting retirement, somehow, some way, there would have to have a plan in place for them to put money into the pool in order for them to have that money coming back to them after the 15 years. It's just like insurance. You know what I'm saying? It's just like insurance. Like in the military, you know, as you do a certain amount of years, you're able to receive a stipend for the rest of your life. You're able to receive benefits. Times has changed since I came in. I know at one point in time, they was allowing people to retire 15 years in time and service. But then again, you was receiving a small percentage of your retirement for the rest of your life. You know, that really plays a huge role. Tucker says 100 million PPV fight with Floyd, and he's fighting non-PPV fights. It ain't for the love of the sport. 100 million PPV fights with Floyd, and he's fighting non-PPV fights. It ain't for the love of the sport. And it's according to who you're talking to. I think I understand what you're saying, but if you can clarify just a little bit. You know, Floyd Mayweather, right? And I'm going against what I believe in and not talking about fighters' pay, because I just don't think it's my right to talk about a fighter's pay, because that's something I really don't have any justification or true hard facts on what a fighter is bringing home. I never trust what's out here in the media. If they say, you know, Anthony Joshua made 85 million when he faced freaking, you know, Andy Ruiz in Saudi. Okay, cool. But how much did he take home? Did he take home 85 million? We're talking about taxes, first and foremost, taxes. Then we're talking about Eddie Hearns, and if Barry Hearns is in there, that's 3 factors right there. And then you factor in your trainers, the fight camp, and everything else. That's like 5 or 6 variables. So I'm curious, first and foremost, like, where are the books? The same can be said about Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. If they was paid and then they received the upside to the PPV, right? Taxes and everything else that goes along with that. What was the take-home pay? It's tough, man. Boxing is freaking tough. Okay, speaking on Pacquiao. Gotcha. Yeah, I got you. You know, the fight with Keith Thurman, I know Pacquiao didn't make that much money. But once again, the weird thing about boxing is we heard about the Don King era we've heard about various promotions or managers or whatever way back when that has some type of manipulative process that happens with not looking out for the fighter. And the fighter is supposed to make this amount of money, and they didn't make that amount of money. It's still going on to this day. It's still going on, people. It's tough. These fighters have to go in there and hopefully make enough living to open up their own gym. You know what I'm saying? At least the gym will provide you some source of residual if you're able to maintain that. I mean, it can provide you something. If the members, if your name is big enough for the members to say, oh man, that's so-and-so's gym right there. You know what I'm saying? That's Wilder's gym right there, man. Let's go over there and see how it is. Let's see how the setup is. Let's check out the bags. You know what I'm saying? Let's check out the ring. How many rings does it have? That's what they want to see. Because look, I did a video about this a while ago, right? On how the UFC is building up Fortress. When I say Fortress, they're building up UFC training centers that are the top of the line equipment. They have sleeping quarters in there. They have cooking areas. And some of them, I think, have nutritionists. They have physicians. They have the whole kit and caboodle in there in one freaking drop. They allow UFC fighters to come train in there. Also, boxers can come train in there. Now, granted, from the time UFC started, not the original owners, but when they transferred over, right? Why haven't boxing been able to open up these training centers like that? That has like 2 rings in it, that have a sleeping quarters, cooks, doctors, you know, have qualified trainers in there overseeing these fighters as they get ready. You can't say a sport like mixed martial arts that has more dynamics to the striking facet, right? You can't say they're less intensive than freaking boxing. But you know, boxing's been around longer than mixed martial arts. I'm talking about mainstream mixed martial arts. It's been around longer. It's been around longer than the UFC. So the UFC comes along and, you know, they get sold for $4 billion, of course, amazing. And then they start, they go on this freaking mapping, this freaking global mapping structure of building up these training centers over in foreign countries. They're building them up over here in the US. And actually, you know, boxers can go in there too, man. You know, mixed martial artists can go in there and train. Why isn't boxing building up these training centers? Or you have boxers willing to go into business with one another and say, let us build up this facility. Let's put 2 rings in it, state-of-the-art equipment, treadmills, bags, ellipticals, showers, dormitories, and have fighters in there that has, you know, a fight that's coming up, and you charge them a fair amount of percentage from if they choose to sleep in there, if they're eating in there. So all they have to do is wake up and train. Everything else is taken care of. If they're able to provide that, and then once they fight, you're able to receive that revenue back. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the plan is, you just don't see that in boxing. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It can happen. It's enough fighters, it's enough boxers out here that it can happen. You can have people go into business together and open up some gyms that's not run down and leaking from the ceiling, and, you know, small, you know, the one ring they have in there, it may need work or may not. But you can put up a boxing gym anywhere. Like, you see it all the time. Like, people open up boxing gyms in a freaking old gas station if it has enough space. If the lot is empty, they can say, oh, that's enough room to put up a ring, man. Let's go ahead and open up this old freaking Exxon that used to be here. This old freaking Church's Chicken. That's enough space. I mean, in some of these places, man, it's just enough room for the boxing ring itself, and they might have 2 or 3 bags in there. I've seen it. I've seen the boxing ring. You get inside the boxing ring, and you can almost touch the ceiling. I mean, either way it goes, man, you can almost touch the ceiling. It's just amazing. So that's my suggestion to some of these fighters that's out here, man. Get with another fighter that's making pretty decent money. Go into a business, build a nice quality facility, or get a loan. Get a loan, build a nice facility, and while you're still actively fighting, you're able to make money and put it back into your freaking gym. I see a lot of mixed martial artists that's doing that down here in the South. They're opening up their own gyms. So if they can do it, boxers can do it. Jamarcus Johnson, salute, man. What's good? He said Robert Garcia has something like that with 30 fighters living there, but it's just his fighters. True. And you know what? I can't be mad at Robert Garcia for just having his fighters, because obviously him and his family's put in the time and the effort it takes, and the low crawling, the grind, all that. They did everything they needed to do. So if he has that multiple fighters standing there, that's just his fighters. That's cool. That's even better, because his fighters know if they come to the gym, they know what the agreement is. So all they have to do is go there, train. The food is going to be ready, sleep, train, and that is the lifestyle of a fighter that is in, you know what I'm saying, going through that freaking regime. That's the lifestyle of a fighter, y'all. You know, in the military, we go on deployments all the time away from our family. Some people mention that, you know, fighters may have to fight a certain amount of time a year because they're away from their family. Well, guess what? If your girl gets with, if a girl dates a guy that's a boxer, they come into that fully understand that their man or their mate or whoever they're supporting, they're going to be outside. They're going to be outside the care of their home to make a living. So if that particular spouse goes out here and able to win the world title and get paid a good amount of money, everything's cool. She's living happy. The kids are happy, everything. But if that particular voice is going against everything that fighter is standing for right now, and she's not supporting him, she's not giving him that solid support that he needs when he's heading into training camp, and she's complaining about, okay, baby, let me take this fight so I can make some more money. And then she may say something like, you just came out of training camp. You ain't spending enough time with the family. So what do you want? You want to go out there and make a living, or you want to be home so you can look at his face? Because once you're looking at his face enough, you're going to be like, hey, when you got next fight coming up? I don't know. I haven't got a call. Oh, you know it's only this amount of money in the bank account, right? Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that stuff happens in the military too, man. In the military, you have a lot of people, a lot of spouses. I'm gonna tell you point blank, the military has some of the worst marriage percentages in divorce that you can imagine. They don't really care about what your family is. They care about you going out here to the mission. You can come home from deployment, and then they tell you in a month and a half, you're going to be right back out on deployment. What are you going to do? You're going to go into your command and you're going to say, I'm not going out on deployment. And they're going to laugh and say, why? Oh, because I had a conversation with my wife, and she kind of was complaining about how long I've been away from the family. And we just have a 2-year-old kid. This is real life shit. And they're going to tell you, well, you might want to understand that you're working for the federal government. We have control over all of that. Lion Killer, what's good, man? Salute to you. Thanks for dropping in. We have control over that. Jamarcus Johnson said it's nice too. They stay for free, but just pay the cook $10 a day. That's what's up, Jamarcus. If they pay the cook 10 bucks a day and they stay for free, how in the heck is Robert Garcia making any money off the facility of the wear and tear of his fighters? The fighters are sleeping. They're taking craps in there. They're using the freaking equipment. They're eating. Okay, you say the compensation for them eating is $10 a day. If you paying $10 a day for the nutrition that they need as a fighter, that is amazing. That's amazing. But I'm not sure how he can have multiple fighters up in there and not receiving any type of revenue to support his brand, his company, his facility. Shit, Mikey Garcia. Come on, Mikey Garcia was out the sport. He was out the sport freaking in litigation to fight for his independency. Them Garcias ain't people who just giving up stuff for free. Like Mikey Garcia spent to close to $1 million in litigation in legal fees, right? That's to release him out the contract of Bob Arum. So during that time, he was doing real estate and all that other stuff, man. So somebody have to be paying living up in the quarters like that. I don't think them Garcias getting down where they just letting fighters stay for free. Hey, go ahead. Stay for free. I know you don't have a fight coming up, but go ahead, go in here, use the bag and everything, hang out, do what you got to do. How's he making his money? He got to make his money one way or the other. But back to what I was saying earlier, if some of these fighters, man, if they have kids, they have spouses that want to complain about them being in training camp, then they jumped in with the wrong particular person, man. Because it's nothing like leaving the house knowing your lady supports you, knowing that she has your back, she's giving you all the encouragement, and you about to go out here and jump in training camp in hope of winning this next fight. It's nothing like it. I mean, I'm just saying for those who are with kid and with the fiance, with the girl, with the wife or whatever, you feel good leaving the house. Like, my girl, wishing me the best, call her up from training camp. How everything doing? How's everything going? You know what I'm saying? What's up? You don't want an argument to ensue and you're leaving the house to go out here for a big fight. And it's just it's not happening mentally. Mentally, you're drained. You're thinking about your kid. You're questioning another job that you can go about to make money. But boxing is all you know. What about the fighters that don't have a high school education? What about fighters who don't have a college education? What are you going to do outside of boxing? It's some fighters that doesn't have a plan B because all they know is boxing, right? That's all I'm saying, man. Because in the service, they can give a damn how old your kid is. That's real. Your kid can be 15 days old. And you've been on deployment 6 months already out of an 8-month tour. And your wife at home, look, she had the baby all by herself. She had family come up, of course, but you wasn't there. So your baby is like 10 days old. You think you're leaving deployment? You think they're going to say, okay, your baby's 10 days old, we're going to send you home. No, they're going to say, well, we only have 2 months left. We'll be home soon. What we can do, we can go over to the media center and we can do a video conferencing with your wife and you can see your kid, your newborn and everything. Or we can do FaceTime and you can talk to your wife then. Besides that, index for this deployment is about 2 months away. So 6 months is already done. You have another 2 months, so deal with it. Suck it up. That's what they say in the Marine Corps. I'll tell you that. And anybody in the Marine Corps wanna sit up here and go and have something else other than what I just mentioned, they just hating because that shit happens. Jamarcus said, same thing I was thinking. He said out of his mouth, he's been blessed. What you said is the same thing Elite Ellie asked him The video on YouTube. Oh, that's what's up. If Robert's saying he's been blessed, which we know they have been blessed, okay, the Garcias, man, is well respected. Once again, not getting people's money and shit. And we know Ellie is over there all the time. Shout out to ES News. That's amazing. That's amazing for him to be able to do that. To have his fighters up here training and to make that happen like that. Y'all hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. Gotta let my dog out. Come here. Come here. Come here. Go. I'm back. My bad. I was receiving some info for to visit a gym, so I was trying to get that taken care of, or whatever. But I'll check that out there, Jamarca. Because if by chance that Robert Garcia is doing that, that's good on them, man. They earned it. That's real talk. They earned it. Just like anybody else, I'll say they earned it. But what I do see a lot of, right? I'm just gonna keep it light. Like you see some people that's willing to invest their money on something, but yet they ain't living as heavy. Like they're looking at the now. They're ready to buy the cars, the houses, and everything else, right? And if you paying cash for them, cool. But when you live in a lifestyle, just say you're a well-known boxer celebrity, and you have company over. Some people feel they need the lifestyle to mirror what people actually believe in what they're seeing on TV. So if you're fighting on TV, Showtime or Top Rank or whatever, and you have fighters that come to a party of yours, they have to make sure either the party is at an event and it's nice, or it has to be at the house that people can walk in and say, damn, this is a nice ass house you got. Damn, like them cars you got. But when it comes down to it, you have some fighters that's willing to say, you know what, I'm going to keep it basic and I'm going to invest and get a loan to start up a business. That's easier said than done, man. I'm serious. Even myself, like you have to take in consideration to invest your money properly. And then a lot of people this day and time, they refuse to get a CFO. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to get an accountant. They believe people are going to steal their money. So they try to go about it themselves without the legality aspect of it. And some of them get hit in the head with a mallet. Some of them get their money stolen, and everything that they hoped and dreamed for, they find out that investment was a fraud. It's bad. But ultimately, what I want to see is more boxing gyms of boxers going in together and open up boxing gyms, man. It doesn't even have to be a boxing gym, because check this out. You're basically set to make more money if you open up just a gym that support MMA and boxing. I mean, seriously. Up in Roy Jones Jr., shout out to the legend himself. Up in Vegas, man, his shit is on point. Roy Jones, he has a boxing ring and a freaking MMA cage. A lot of people don't know about that. And they probably haven't even been up in there. But he has a cage up in there and a boxing ring, bags. I mean, it's nice. I ain't gonna lie. They have a mat over there for those who want to, do some grappling or whatever. They have the bags set up in their own little area. It's a real nice facility, man. When I get around to it, I'm gonna go through and post some pictures of it. But it's real nice. It's real nice. I think you'll make more money catering to mixed martial arts and boxing instead of just having a boxing gym with limited bags, just a treadmill. It's all about how they want to do it, how they want to invest their money. But I just wish it was more quality corporate type buildings out here so fighters can go out here and freaking sleep, eat, sleep, train, eat, sleep, train. You know what I'm saying? Eat, sleep, train, repeat. It'll be good. Maybe we produce better fighters. They won't be running around here, scrounging for a freaking gym to train at and then trying to find out how they're going to have money to Uber back to the house. I literally have fighters that I just went to a fight card that they asked me, I end up having to communicate with them, right? And they would ask me, I had fighters ask me, could I cash out them some money to get back from the gym? You know what I'm saying? That's the shit people don't know about. Like they just asked me because I was media, say, hey, I'm the fighter from so-and-so. I was wondering, could you cash out me a certain amount of dollars just to catch this Uber to this place? They had to pay for training. It's a hard knock life. I'm not gonna lie. It's very hard knock life out there for boxers and mixed martial artists. It's a hard knock life, man. Johnson said, I like what Roy doing. He takes these young boxers under his wing. Roy Jones, he is doing good things for those boxers. A lot of boxers that's under his tutelage, right? They have nothing but good things to say about him. And what you might understand about what he's doing, Roy Jones isn't really taking boxers that's already on the high level. This is a fact I do know, that one of the reasons that may be, I'm just making an assumption here, is the fact that it's not the point that Roy cannot train the higher tier fighters, but Roy Jones has a name, he has a brand and everything else, right? So at one point in time, Devin Haney, he trained with Roy Jones. I guess Roy Jones at one point in time put his sole effort into Devin Haney for a minute, and then they end up leaving. They scooped up and absorbed all the knowledge, and they end up leaving. I don't know how long they stayed with Roy Jones, but the fact is, Devin Haney did go through that mode of travel, stopped into that freaking that squadron, the Roy Jones freaking training facility, stayed there for a little bit, and then left. And from my understanding, Roy Jones has hurt a little bit over that. I never asked him about it when I seen him in person. But yeah, most of the fighters that you see, they're fighters on the come up. They're fighters that's fighting on the regional level and probably higher. It's on the come up. You don't see Roy Jones with any top tier fighters. One thing I can say, he has a gym on his property. It has 2 rings. It has one ring down here that's a smaller ring, and they have a big ring over there on the other side of the gym. He has bags, equipment, and everything else. And then also he has a place where fighters can sleep at. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I know he ain't gonna do that shit for free. I can assume he ain't gonna do it for free, but yeah, I've been there. I stayed there before. He has a place where the fighters can stay. and then get up and come to the gym and train. And then he also, that's in Pensacola. And then he also have a gym over in Vegas. The gym over in Vegas is, the one that has the cage in it and the ring. Real nice gym. But for boxing, I just wanted to get on here and talk about, my disappointment with Sugar Hill. Of course, he can probably give a damn what I'm talking about, but I just had the caveat. I heard it on the Boxing Voice, and I was like, man, that's just vague responses to something of this severity. He was just giving those default answers like, oh, the commissioner, and the inspectors was there. Okay, that's cool. He received his glove like Deontay Wilder received them. It was really nothing in depth. Well, do you look at video of the fight? No, I don't look at videos. I don't look at footage of the fighters. Come on, you have to know something about the fighters. And then for him to say, well, you seen the video of the gloves? Well, they was inspected. Well, what about them putting the towel or the shirt over there and unplugging the camera before the fight? We was back there looking at TV. I don't know nothing about that. We didn't get nothing from it. You know what I'm saying? I understand a lot of people recognize him more for being Emanuel Steward, Emanuel Steward being his uncle and stuff, being a nephew, all that. But it's just disappointing that trainers have to be hush-hush, else they're going to get that phone call like Manny Robles did after Andy Ruiz won the belts. After Andy Ruiz won the belt. Manny Robles was good for Andy Ruiz to win the belt. But then turn around, your service is no longer needed when he loses it. When you're a fighter, his father's the one called, right? When your son, you're basically saying that people are saying that he's not coming to training. He even saying himself that he let the superstardom get to him. He let the belts and the party and get to him. So you go up there and fire Manny Robles? I don't understand that. But heading to this weekend, before I get off here, heading to this weekend, Shakur Stevenson, man. Check him out. He's going there against Miguel Moraga, the same one that fought, Oscar Valdez, Vasily Lomachenko, Nicholas Waters back in the day. He's going in there with very good experience. He's on a 4-fight knockout streak, and he's in there with the right opponent. Seriously, he's in there with Shakur Stevenson. If you know anything about Shakur Stevenson, man, he ain't playing right now. Shakur Stevenson, the WBO champion, dude is the problem when it comes to people not really talking about him all the time. I like how he's staying out of the limelight. He's chilling. He's working. He's cooking in the gym, and he's getting ready for this freaking title defense, man. His title defense is freaking, it's very, very important. This title defense is very, very important. And like I mentioned the other day, Brian Norman out of ATL, he's 16-0, 14 knockouts. He has a big fight coming up on Showtime, man. Shout out to Brian Norman. Go in there and get that freaking win, man. He's fighting on Showtime, and it should be a hell of an experience for him to be on a televised fight. I had the opportunity to drop into his training camp for a little bit while they was tightening up some things a week ago or whatever. But yeah, be sure to check out Brian Norman Jr., 16-0, undefeated, 14 knockouts. There's a lot of history with this guy that a lot of people don't know about, but check him out as he go in there on Showtime and get this work. You know what I'm saying? And get this work. Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders, I'm really not even hyped up for this fight if it does happen. I don't really care. Billy Joe Saunders, man, he's not a fighter that just really entices anything that I want to look at in boxing. But my last talking point would be Jermell Charlo. The 154-pound division, right? I would say this. It's enough opposition out there to make a good fight with Jason Rosario and Jermell Charlo. What I'm getting from the Charlo brothers, man, I understand you came back and your claim to fame is getting your belt back. Like Charlo was another fighter that was quiet as hell when he got defeated. Quiet as hell, man. Dude was just so quiet. And he want to talk about his mama raised him right. You know what I'm saying? Your parents don't have anything to do with the trash talking that you was giving Jarrett Hurd when he had the titles. Like this dude could not shut up. But Tony Harrison defeated him, and that dude was absolutely quiet. So he came back and got his belt. Tony Harrison was showboating at the wrong time, and he ended up paying the price for it. But why isn't Jermell Charlo trying to be great and go on social media and call out Jason Rosario? The same Jason Rosario who's defeated by Nathaniel Gallimore. Kevin Cunningham recently said something that's really important. He trains Erickson Lubin. And the question was asked, like, is it a good time for Erickson Lubin to go up here and try to face somebody like Jason Rosario? And Kevin Cunningham's like, why not? Nathaniel Gallimore went up there and gave Jason Rosario the work, and then Erickson Lubin went in there and gave Nathaniel Gallimore the work. So everybody's thinking about the time he was knocked out. That's long past. I'm pretty sure Lubin is ready to step back in there for a big fight, and that big fight be a title fight. So if it's Jason Rosario, it's his time to go in there and say, you know what? I'm one of the top junior middleweights out here. Let's get it. Because Jermell Charlo ain't trying to. I don't hear him calling out Jason Rosario for unification. I don't hear them calling out the WBO champ. What's his name? Teixeira? Like, what's going on with the Charlos? What's going on? Are we going to see a media rematch? If we're not going to see a media rematch with Julian Williams and Jason Rosario, then why not freaking Lubin? Why not Jermell Charlo? I mean, come on, man. You got the belts. Let's try to unify again the junior middleweight division. Let's not just say I got the WBC belt and everybody else, you just have to wait till I go out here and pick a no name. I don't understand. It's not up for me to understand with the Charlos, man. Seriously, it's not up to me to understand. Especially Jermell. Jermell needs to understand that he has the right opponent. He never could get the fight with Jarrett Hurd. Julian Williams went in there and did what Jermell Charlo didn't. Then turning full circle. Guess what? I mean, come on, man. It's obvious. Like, it's right there for you. Jason Rosario won the belts back. I mean, won the belts from freaking Julian Williams in dominating fashion. Why would you want to go over there? After you coming off a dominating win against Tony Harrison, why don't you go over there, Jermell Charlo, and start talking and say, okay, I want to step in there with Jason so I can pick these belts up. I want the WBA and the IBF. Let's go. Come on, man. Y'all ain't holding these. Man, some of y'all just like these fighters, man. Y'all want to be in their presence, and y'all don't want to say anything bad about them because you see them, they're not going to give you an interview. This is not being critical of the Charlos. I'm just saying, like, if the unified titles is out there accessible, why don't you go on social media like everybody else do and try to get the fight? WBC, WBA, IBF will look real good. Look really good. DBMA says, salute WCS. What's your take on these up-and-coming fights? Kirkland versus Hernandez, Nery versus Almeida, Benavidez versus Angulo, James versus Delorme. Those are a lot of fights that's up and coming with some crazy names. Like James Kirkland is on his comeback. I believe he's on a 2-fight win streak. I might be a little off with that, but that's not really a big fight that just piques my interest. Even though I like to see James Kirkland You know, he's a warrior in his own spirit, a warrior for the sport. You know what I'm saying? It's just in fights, he's just went in there and just recklessly punched with reckless abandonment, with no like discipline. You have to go in there and have discipline with Canelo. You have to have discipline. I mean, I understand the I guess it was a Chinese fighter, I believe, that upset him. I'm not sure, but he wasn't supposed to lose that fight. But man, that's just not a fight that's just tempted me. Benavidez and Gulo, that's more so a fight that I'm looking at, and I'm saying to myself, right, Benavidez, the WBC champion, super middleweight. They said they tried to offer Caleb Plant a fight coming off this recent fight with Vincent Feigenbutz. Of course, it wasn't enough time for freaking Caleb Plant to jump in the fight camp. So he goes in here and he set the fight in Gulo. I have mixed emotions about that because I just thought he could have found somebody better. Now I know Angulo. Let me pull some. I know Angulo is coming off that win. I believe with Peter Quillin. But let me pull some up right quick. That's why I had to check. It's not the same one, but I don't know too much about Alexis Angulo. That's why I always do my freaking research. I thought I had a twinge that it wasn't the same Angulo. But this Angulo, man, to be honest with you, I haven't really did a lot of research on Alexis Angulo. I know he's 26-1 looking at his record with 22 knockouts. You know what I'm saying? He has experience. Colombian fighter. Orthodox. You know what I'm saying? I guess his residence is down there in Florida. But like I said, that's why I do my research. I'm not going to sit up here and try to bullshit you. I didn't know too much about this guy that David Benavidez was fighting, but very solid question. Very solid question. Let me check this other fight right quick. Some of these fights like Neary and Mayla, it depends on how the fight turn out. Now, Thomas Delorme, (25-3), man. You know, we all seen him in there with Jesse Vargas that time, but hold on for a second. Let me go let my dog out. Yeah, when it come down to Delorme, man, his last fight was September 2019, and he's stepping back in. So, you know, kudos to him, man. He's fighting for the interim world boxing WBA world welterweight title. You know what I'm saying? The interim. So it's a championship fight, so to speak. His opponent, Jamal James, 26-1. Don't know too much about this guy, to be honest. His last fight was July 2019 against Antonio DeMarco. He won a unanimous decision. Looking at his resume, really no big names at all. I mean, we already know Thomas Delorme, who he fought. You know, he has Terrence Crawford back there in 2015. He only had one fight in 2016. He fought twice in 2017, and most notable, Yordenis Ugas in August 2017. And then Jesse Vargas, October 2018, which was a draw. You know, Jesse Vargas did earn a draw also with Adrian Brawner. You know what I'm saying? And then in September 2019, Terrell Williams. So those fights are what they are, man. At least it sports a medal, you know, a badge. At least it's something in it for them. DBMA say they're mostly premiers trying to get some new insight on up and coming boxers. Yeah, up and coming boxers, man, it's tough to do research on all the landscape of boxing. I'm talking about 17 divisions. 17 divisions. It's extremely tough to know about all the upcoming fighters unless you like on the regional level and you have some familiarity with these fighters. That's why I like the grassroots, because you find out a lot about the fighters that's down there. And then once they do make that entry into the mainstream, you know who the hell they are. But that's what it is, man. But back to Charlo. I really want to see, you know, Jermell Charlo, man. Try to unify the vision, bro. I'm calling bullshit, bro. For real. Like, come on, man. All that talk. Man, lines only. Keep running your mouth. And all that, man. I'm just kind of frustrated with this situation because he went in there and fought Austin Trout, Tony Harrison in 2018. Before that, in 2017, he had Charles Hatley, right? And then he stepped in there with Erickson Lubin, and that's when he earned the KO. All right, that's the one fight that really made him shine because the Charlos were coming off as knockout artists. You know, they want to be knockout artists, right? So they got knockouts all the way up till he ran into Austin Trout. He tried, he was headhunting, but Austin Trout was just too slick. He was just headhunting. He dropped Austin Trout. Okay, he was able to do that, but he earned a majority decision. And then coming up in 2018, man, he lost his belt. We didn't hear from him. Tony Harrison prolonged the fight, saying he had an ankle injury. And then in that time, he fought Jorge Cota. Really wasn't such a big deal at all. And then he just got his title back. So that's December 2019. Who's next? We want who's next for Jermell Charlo, man. Because check this out. Erickson Lubin at the time was 18-0. He's 22-1 right now. Erickson Lubin's still been fighting. Ever since his loss with Jermell Charlo, he's fought Severio Ortiz, Ishe Smith, Sicario Atau, Nathaniel Gallimore recently. He won a unanimous decision over him. The same Nathaniel Gallimore that beat Jason Rosario. So, rematch Lubin. Charlo, rematch Lubin. Come on, man. Lubin is only 24 years old, man. But he's still a young hitter in the sport. Lubin is still a quality fighter in the junior middleweight division. Why don't you run it back with Lubin? You're going to say, oh, I knocked him out already. I don't want to. You can't say fight Austin Trout because Austin Trout is not even in the division anymore. That would be a good fight for Jermell Charlo, to be honest. Rematch Lubin. If you're not going to fight Jason Rosario, shit, fight Lubin. Kevin Cunningham said, why not? Why not? If Jason Rosario is open for his fighter to accept the challenge to fight for the belts, why not? Let's go. Jason Rosario has the WBA, IBF, and the IBO title. That's enough hardware for somebody to get motivated to go in there and step in and face Jason Rosario. I know he just came off that victory in January 2020, but you have Jermell Charlo out there, man. You have Erickson Lubin. Let me go over here to the ranking system. I'm just going over here to the ranking system so we can kind of talk, because no one's talking about Patrick Teixeira. So if you're talking about big names to go in here and fight, Jarrett Hurd, he's ranked number 1 in the WBA, but I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to getting a fight with Jason Rosario just yet. I don't know. To be honest, he was trying to act like he wasn't even coming back to the freaking junior middleweight division, and then he comes back and he looks okay. So you're talking about Sergio Garcia in the WBC. Tony Harrison's ranked number 3 in the WBC. They ain't fighting anytime soon. So you got Erickson Lubin, Sergio Garcia, and Brian Castano. We really want to see Brian Castano? I mean, nah. It's not really any big names out there, man. Who we gonna do? We're gonna pull Kell Brook. We're gonna pull Kell Brook out of 8 and face Jermell Charlo. I don't think he's gonna do that. Jason Rosario might. Jason Rosario might fight Kell Brook. You talking about putting butts in the seats, man? It's not too many names out there to do that. You have Julian Williams if he enacts his rematch clause, which is up in the air whether he's going to do it or not, whatever. But you have Julian Williams, you have Jarrett Hurd, you have Kell Brook, Erickson Lubin. He's ranked number 1 in the WBC, number 4 in the WBA. That's all I can tell you, man. Like, damn, Carlos Ocampo is number 13, super middle. I mean, super welterweight. He's still hanging around. Wow. he woke up from the Spence fight already. Shoot. But you only have like 4 big names, not excluding Tony Harrison. I'm just saying Jermell Charlo isn't fighting him anytime soon for a trilogy. So the only names that really for either Jermell Charlo or Jason Rosario, primarily Jermell Charlo, will be Erickson Lubin. You know what I'm saying? Erickson freaking Lubin. Or if he chooses to unify, it will more so be dependent on Jason Rosario if he want to fight Jermell Charlo. But I just don't hear Charlo calling out Rosario, which is weird. It doesn't make any sense. And then Kell Brook's name really is still a legitimate competitor out there trying to climb his way back into the picture. Call on Kell Brook, man. The way Julian Williams looked last time, I know it's cliche, right? But check this out. Julian Williams looked really bad in there. And people are going to say, oh, you saying Julian Williams looked bad, but you're trying to act like Deontay Wilder wasn't looking bad. You said that Anthony Joshua was looking bad. 3 different fights and three different opponents in how they took punishment. Julian Williams looked just as bad as Deontay Wilder did a little bit as far as a busted lip, bleeding and stuff like that. But looking at the way Julian Williams did when he fought Jarrett Hurd and the way he looked when he stepped in there with Jason Rosario, he looked bad from the second round. He just really looked bad. And when he's finished, when the referee stopped it, there's no way you can compare that to the Deontay Wilder fight. The uppercut that he hit him with, I mean, he was out. Like, he looked stunned. He was unstable. He was out. Seriously. So, Julian Williams, his career isn't over. It's just unfortunate that he tried to prove to the Philly fans that was doubting him from one knockout loss from Jermell Charlo that he wasn't nothing. He was a can. And he was trying to do all that. And then he goes in here and lose against a dude that, Nathaniel Gallimore had a go at and did well against. and he goes in there and gets stopped. Bad. I'm looking forward to the Shakur Stevens Mariaga fight. But the one you mentioned, past that, no. I'm not. Erislandy Lara, bro. Come on, man. What are we talking about in a sense? Be more clear that DBMA. Erislandy Lara, I didn't mention his name for a reason. We have no idea what Erislandy Lara is doing when it comes to the big names. Do we want to see him in there with somebody like Jason Rosario, even though he's like isn't he like the regular champion? I don't see him. I mean, come on, it's not like dude can't fight, but I didn't mention his name for a reason. Why? I don't think Lubin is going to fight. Nothing has been spoken on about Lara, period. Jermell Charlo ain't trying to fight Lara. Rosario is not trying to fight Lara. Man, come on. I mean, I don't know what Lara is doing right now. That's why I ain't mentioned his name. It makes no sense to put his name in the equation, and we don't know what the hell he's doing. The last fight he had was August 2019. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we remember when he took the loss against Jarrett Hurd. But like I said, we don't know what Erislandy Lara is doing. We just don't know. Good boxer. 32 years old. I mean, good boxer, but I didn't mention him for a reason because I know Jermell ain't going to fight him. I know Jason Rosario. I don't know. I mean, I didn't hear him mention one thing about Lara. One iota, man. So that's where it's at. I hope Jermell Charlo step up and try to unify. And I want to see a little bit more from his brother Jermall Charlo too. Now that you was promoted to the WBC title, and you got the defense out the way and all that. Word is they didn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. You know what I'm saying? That's word is, he didn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. So what else is out there for Jermall? Yeah, it's hardly any mentions on that, man. Real talk. But let me check one more thing out right quick. And then I'm out. Okay, 160. We got the franchise champion, of course. Yola Murata. I refuse to mention Triple G in any of this because Jermall Charlo, he's not going to fight Triple G. And Triple G is not going to fight Jermall Charlo because he'll probably get his ass whooped. And that'll be a good title for Jermall Charlo to scoop up, is the IBF champion, because I truly believe that Jermall Charlo can defeat Gennady Golovkin due to the styles matching up nicely. He's there to be hit. Seriously, he's there to be hit. We've seen it with Sergey Derevyanchenko. He's there to be hit. Demetrius Andrade, man, he's just like the stepchild of the division. I'm not saying Demetrius Andrade can't fight, but he's like the stepchild of the division. He's looking for that respect, man. He's got Hummy McGill sitting at the door. Link him and Hummy McGill up. He's the #1 contender. Link him up. Cool. I watched that fight with Hummy McGill and Demetrius Andrade. Chris Eubanks, we're still waiting on him to fight, man, the WBA. We still want to see Chris Eubanks fight. Magomed Ankalaev, I mean, he's ranked #2. Sergey Derevyanchenko is now moved over to the WBC after failing the second time at the IBF against Gennady, which he beat, but they robbed him. And in second in the WBC is Hummy McGill. Put Hummy McGill in there with Jermall Charlo. But it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen, y'all. That's the bad thing about it. Like, it's not going to happen. Now, do I want to see Sergey Derevyanchenko, Jermall? Of course. Sergey Derevyanchenko is about that. Put him in there with Jermall Charlo. But we need to see the Charlo fight somebody, man, of importance. Jermall Charlo, that's who we're talking about. It'll be good to see Chris Eubanks, fight Jermall Charlo. But Chris Eubanks, for what I'm looking at, I don't see him even ranked in the WBC. So we definitely don't see any of that in the near future. It just gets amazing, man. Past the top 2 in some of these sanctioning bodies, the names become very foreign. Like, these guys are still on the rise. You know what I'm saying? Not so much the Rob Brants, Jorge Cotas. I'm talking about names that just bring people to the venue. Jeff Horn, will we ever see Jeff Horn again? But the one name that's just hanging around that I think is going to be pretty exciting once he finally step up. Not so much Sergey Derevyanchenko, because he's been here already, right? We already know he's about that. He put on a pretty quality fight, but more so Hummy McGill. I'm looking forward to seeing Hummy McGill step in there. I'm looking forward to Chris Eubanks Jr. And then some of these other names is just like foreign names, man. No one really talk about. See them step up in there, man. Just like what was the guy who fought Terrence Crawford? The Mean Machine. He came out of nowhere and he put on a pretty good fight while it lasted. So I'm looking for some of these other names that's in here too to put on a pretty good performance, man. But that's what it is, man. And that's all I got for today. It's been cool as always. Been informative. Appreciate everybody who dropped in. Once again, Sugar Hill, man. Much respect to you. But I was just disappointed in the answers that you gave. Very, very vague in what you was doing. And that the video is out there. That's real talk, man. And okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Definitely. We can do that. So I'll be updating on some of the fighters I feel avoiding each other. I was picking your brain for some. Yeah, some of the names you mentioned, to be honest, I don't pay attention to every fighter in every ranking system, sanctioning body in every division. I don't. But I dig enough to the point where the ones that's up and coming, I would definitely report on. And be sure to follow on all social media platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and IG. I don't just say it to say it in recession, you know what I'm saying? But really, share the content. Truly thankful and appreciative for your support. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. Salute to you.